Serena, sometimes after a bath or shower, I have this little nagging thought. Am I smelling as fresh as I'd like throughout the entire day? I think it's something many of us might quietly wonder about as we get a bit older.
That's a really relatable thought, Daniel. And you're right, it's often not about a lack of cleanliness at all. Sometimes it can be due to some simple, often overlooked bathroom habits that might be playing a part. And folks, if this is something you've wondered about too, let us know in the comments right now. We love hearing from you.
So it's not just me then. It's good to know we can talk about these things openly and without embarrassment.
Absolutely. Here at Empowered Senior Living, that's what we always aim for. Today, we're going to talk about something important, and we want to approach this with all the care and understanding it deserves. We'll be exploring what some doctors are highlighting for seniors. The topic is, and it might sound a bit blunt, doctors warn seniors these 8 bathroom habits make older folks smell bad.
Oh, that does sound a little direct, Serena. I hope people understand the intention behind it.
It does, and I want to assure everyone watching, this isn't about shaming anyone. Not at all. It's about empowering ourselves with knowledge, understanding how we can make tiny adjustments that can make a big difference to our comfort, our confidence, and our overall well-being. Because we all deserve to feel fresh and good about ourselves every single day. And if that sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on helpful tips like these.
That's a much better way to look at it, focusing on empowerment and feeling good. So what are these habits? And more importantly, what can we do about them?
Exactly. In this video, we'll go over 8 common bathroom habits that might be unintentionally causing odor. And crucially, Daniel, we'll discuss simple, practical ways to address them. So everyone, please grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's chat.
All right, Serena, ready to dive into the first habit?
I am. Let's hear it.
The first one we really need to talk about is something so easy to overlook, especially if we're in a hurry, or perhaps not as limber as we once were. And that's not drying off thoroughly after a bath or shower.
Ah, I can see how that could happen. You think you're dry, but maybe not quite everywhere, especially in those harder-to-reach spots or skin folds.
Precisely. Think about it. Water is life. Not just for us, but for tiny little microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. When we leave moisture lingering on our skin, especially in those cozy, warm places like under the arms, in the groin area, between our toes, or in any skin folds, like under the belly or breasts for some folks, we're basically rolling out the welcome mat for these little critters.
So it's the dampness that's the problem, encouraging these microorganisms, not just sweat itself.
Exactly. These microorganisms thrive in damp environments. As they multiply, they can produce waste products that unfortunately don't smell like a rose garden. It's this microbial activity that's often the culprit behind body odor. Sweat itself is mostly odorless, but an overgrowth of certain bacteria encouraged by dampness leads to those unwanted smells.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. So what's the simple fix for this, Daniel?
It's all about taking an extra minute or two to be meticulous with your towel. Instead of a quick, vigorous rub down, which can sometimes irritate mature skin, try patting your skin dry with a soft, absorbent towel. Pay special attention to those areas we mentioned. Skin folds are particularly prone to trapping moisture.
Patting dry, that's a good tip. But what if reaching certain spots is a bit tricky? I know that can be a challenge for some, perhaps due to arthritis or reduced mobility.
That's a very important point, Serena. If reaching is difficult, consider using a towel with a loop on each end that you can hold to dry your back, or even a soft, long-handled bath brush with a clean, dry towel wrapped securely around it. Some people even find that a very gentle, quick blast of cool air from a hairdryer, held at a safe distance and on a cool setting, can be a lifesaver for getting those hard-to-reach areas perfectly dry.
A hairdryer on cool. That's quite clever. I wouldn't have thought of that as a drying aid.
The key is to eliminate that dampness that bacteria love so much. It's a small step, a little bit of extra care, but it can make a world of difference in keeping you feeling fresh. And importantly, it can also help prevent skin irritation or even fungal infections like intertrigo, which can also have an odor. Of course, if anyone is experiencing persistent skin irritation or infections, it's always best to consult with their doctor for proper diagnosis and treatment.
That's a very practical start. What's the next habit we should be aware of?
Moving on to what we use to get clean in the first place. Habit number 2 is using harsh, heavily perfumed soaps or body washes.
Oh, but Daniel, those beautifully scented soaps and luxurious body washes can be so tempting. They often promise to make us smell wonderful.
I know, they certainly can be. They promise to make us smell like a spring meadow or a tropical island. But here's the thing. Our skin has a delicate, natural balance. It has a slightly acidic protective layer called the acid mantle, and it's also home to a whole community of beneficial bacteria, our skin microbiome, that actually helps keep the not-so-friendly odor-causing bacteria in check.
So we have good bacteria on our skin that are actually helping us?
Yes, exactly. These good bacteria are like tiny guardians for our skin's health. Harsh soaps, especially strong antibacterial ones when used all over the body every day, unless specifically recommended by a doctor for a certain condition, or those with strong detergents like sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, and overpowering artificial fragrances can strip away our skin's natural oils. This disrupts the acid mantle and can upset the delicate balance of our skin microbiome.
And what happens when that balance is upset?
Our skin can become dry, itchy, and irritated. And ironically, by weakening our skin's natural defenses, it can create an environment where the less desirable bacteria can flourish, sometimes leading to more body odor, not less. It's like accidentally helping the troublemakers by getting rid of the good guys who are keeping them under control.
That's certainly not what we want. So, what's a better approach for our daily cleansing?
Opt for gentle, pH-balanced, fragrance-free, or very mildly scented cleansers. Look for products specifically designed for sensitive skin, or those containing moisturizing ingredients like glycerin, ceramides, or natural oils. You don't need aggressive scrubbing or mountains of lather to get effectively clean.
So, it's about working with our body's natural processes, not against them.
Precisely. A simple, pure glycerin soap, a creamy, unscented body wash, or even an emollient cleansing bar can be just as effective at cleaning without causing that unwelcome disruption. Your skin will thank you by feeling more comfortable, being less irritated, and by better maintaining its natural defenses. Perhaps save those beautifully scented products for an occasional treat, rather than everyday use, if you find your skin is sensitive or you're concerned about odor.
That makes sense. Gentle is often better, especially for mature skin. Okay, Daniel, what's habit number 3?
All right, let's talk about the trusty tools we use for drying off after that gentle cleansing. This brings us to habit number 3, not washing towels and washcloths frequently enough.
Oh, the towel. I can see how that could become an issue if we're not careful. It does absorb a lot.
It certainly does. Think about what a towel does. It absorbs water from our clean skin. Yes, but it also inevitably picks up dead skin cells, natural body oils, and any bacteria that might still be present, even after a thorough wash. If that towel then hangs in a damp bathroom, perhaps not drying out completely between uses, it becomes a perfect, cozy, 5-star hotel for bacteria and even mold or mildew.
And I suppose each time you reuse that damp, unwashed towel, you could potentially be rubbing an increasing population of those microbes back onto your clean skin.
Exactly. The same goes for washcloths or bath sponges. They can harbor a lot of gunk if not cleaned and dried properly after every single use. And let's be honest, Serena, a musty-smelling towel is the first and most obvious sign that it's past its prime and needs a good, hot wash. That musty smell itself can transfer to your skin,
Undermining all your efforts to feel fresh. So, what's the recommendation here? More laundry?
Potentially, yes, though it's well worth it. It's recommended to wash your bath towels after every 2 to 3 uses, and ideally, you should allow them to dry completely between each use. If your bathroom is quite humid, or if you've had a particularly sweaty day, or if you're dealing with any skin infections, you might even consider washing it after every single use.
And what about washcloths and sponges?
Washcloths and sponges, because they're used directly with soap to scrub the skin, should ideally be rinsed thoroughly, squeezed out, and hung to dry completely in a well-ventilated spot after each use. Washcloths should be laundered very regularly. Many dermatologists suggest daily, just like underwear. When you do wash your towels and washcloths, use a hot water cycle. Check the care label, of course, but usually 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius is good if the fabric allows, and a good detergent. This helps to kill off any lingering microbes effectively.
Fresh, clean towels really do feel wonderful, and now I understand even more why they're so important for hygiene. What's next on the list, Daniel?
Next up, an area that sometimes gets a bit neglected in the daily rush, but can be a significant source of odor. Habit number 4 is ignoring proper foot care during our bathing routine.
Our poor feet. They do so much work for us, and they are often cooped up in shoes.
They are indeed hard-working parts of our body, and they also have a very high concentration of sweat glands, more per square inch than almost anywhere else on the body, believe it or not. When our feet sweat, especially when they're enclosed inside shoes and socks, where it's warm, dark, and often damp, it's basically party time for bacteria.
And I imagine those bacteria produce odors, just like elsewhere.
Precisely. These bacteria thrive on the sweat and dead skin cells, and as they break them down, they produce those characteristic, often strong, foot odors, sometimes described as cheesy or vinegary. If we're not giving our feet a good, thorough wash when we're in the bath or shower, that odor can linger and contribute to an overall impression of not smelling quite as fresh. That foot odor can even transfer to our slippers, socks, and shoes, creating a persistent cycle.
So it's not enough to just let the soapy water run down over them?
Often no. It's best to take a moment to specifically wash your feet, including the soles, the heels, around the ankles, and very importantly, between each and every toe. Use a gentle soap and a washcloth, a soft foot brush, or even just your hands, but make sure you're actively cleaning those areas.
And drying is crucial here too, I suppose, especially between the toes.
Absolutely critical. After your bath or shower, drying your feet meticulously is just as important as washing them. Pay extra special attention to drying thoroughly between the toes, as this is where moisture loves to hide and can lead to problems like athlete's foot, which also has its own distinct unpleasant odor and can cause discomfort. A little bit of dedicated foot washing and drying each day can make a huge difference.
Happy, healthy, fresh-smelling feet. Definitely a worthy goal. Okay, Daniel, what's habit number 5? This is very enlightening.
This next one can be a sensitive topic, Serena, and I want to address it with kindness, understanding, and practicality. It affects both men and women as we age. Habit number 5 is not addressing even minor urinary leakage promptly or effectively.
Ah, yes, that's something many people experience but might feel hesitant to talk about.
Exactly. As we journey through life, changes in our bodies, perhaps resulting from prostate issues in men or the hormonal shifts of menopause in women, certain medications or other underlying health conditions can sometimes lead to occasional urinary incontinence. This might be stress incontinence, where a few drops escape when we laugh, cough, or sneeze, or it could be urge incontinence. It's incredibly common, much more so than many people realize, and there's absolutely no shame or embarrassment in it.
It's just a physiological change that can happen, but I can see how it might relate to odor if not managed.
Precisely. Urine, even in very small amounts, does have an ammonia-like odor, and if it's left on the skin or on clothing, that odor can become noticeable over time, especially as bacteria interact with it. Sometimes we might try to ignore it, or perhaps feel a bit embarrassed to seek solutions.
So, what's the key to managing this effectively, both for hygiene and for confidence?
The key here is twofold: diligent hygiene and seeking appropriate support if needed. If leakage occurs, it's important to cleanse the genital area gently but thoroughly as soon as you can. Using plain warm water or a very mild pH-neutral cleanser specifically designed for intimate hygiene can be helpful. Avoid harsh soaps in this delicate area. Ensure the area is patted completely dry afterwards. Again, thorough drying is crucial.
And are there products that can help manage this discreetly?
Yes, absolutely. Wearing appropriate absorbent products like pads or briefs designed specifically for urinary incontinence, and it's important to note, these are different from menstrual pads as they are formulated to absorb urine quickly and neutralize odor, can make a huge difference. These products are very discreet and highly effective these days.
And if it's a regular concern?
Then please, and this is so important, if this is something you're experiencing regularly, do have a confidential chat with your doctor or a continence advisor. There are so many strategies, pelvic floor exercises, which can be very effective for both men and women. Lifestyle adjustments and various treatments available that can help manage or even resolve incontinence. You don't have to just live with it or feel self-conscious. Addressing it directly will not only help with any potential odor concerns, but will significantly improve your comfort, skin health, and overall confidence.
That's such an important message of hope and action, Daniel. Thank you for covering that so sensitively. What's next on our list?
Now let's consider what we often wear right after our bath or shower, or what we might lounge around in. Habit number 6 is wearing the same pajamas, nightgown, or bathrobe for too long, especially if it's kept in or frequently exposed to the bathroom environment.
Ah, the comfy robe or PJs. I can see how we might not think to wash them as often as our day clothes, especially if we only wear them for a short while when we're clean.
That's a common thought, but these garments are in close contact with our skin. Even clean skin perspires lightly, sheds skin cells, and has natural body oils. These items can absorb this, plus any lingering moisture if we're not 100% dry when we put them on. If these items are then hung up, perhaps on the back of the bathroom door or in a poorly ventilated closet, they don't always get a chance to air out and dry completely.
So, just like towels, they can become a bit of a haven for bacteria and start to smell stale.
Exactly. They can develop a stale, musty, or even slightly sour odor over time. This odor can then transfer back to our clean skin, which is the last thing we want after a refreshing bath or shower.
What's the simple fix here then? More frequent laundering?
Yes, it is. How often depends on a few factors, like how much you perspire naturally, the fabric, and personal preference, but a good rule of thumb is to wash pajamas or nightgowns every 2 to 3 wears. Bathrobes, especially thicker ones, might go a bit longer, perhaps weekly, but if they get damp regularly or if you wear them for extended periods, more frequent washing is better.
And where we store them matters too, I imagine.
It does. If your bathroom tends to be quite humid, try to store your clean robe and nightwear outside the bathroom in a well-aired linen closet or drawer to help keep them fresher for longer. Freshly laundered sleepwear and robes just feel so much nicer and more comforting.
Good advice. That leads nicely into the next point, I think. You mentioned the bathroom environment.
You're right, Serena. This brings me to a related point concerning the bathroom environment itself. Habit number 7 is having poor bathroom ventilation.
Oh, the steamy bathroom. It can feel nice for a moment, but I know that lingering humidity can cause problems like mold and mildew.
It certainly can. That lovely, warm, moist air, if it lingers for too long, creates the perfect breeding ground for mold and mildew. You might see it on tiles, grout, or shower curtains. But this humidity also makes it much harder for your towels, your bath mat, and even your skin to dry out properly. Mold and mildew have their own distinct musty, earthy odors, and these can permeate the air and cling to fabrics.
So a damp bathroom not only encourages mold, but also prevents things, and us, from drying properly, which we've already learned can contribute to odor.
Precisely. If your towel never fully dries or your bath mat stays perpetually soggy, they'll inevitably start to smell, contributing to the overall scent profile of the room, and by extension, can affect how fresh you feel.
What can we do to combat this, Daniel? Especially if an older bathroom doesn't have modern ventilation.
Ventilation is absolutely key. If you have an exhaust fan, make it your best friend. Turn it on before you start your shower or bath, and very importantly, leave it running for a good 15 to 20 minutes after you're finished to help pull out all that moist air.
And if there's no fan?
If you don't have an extractor fan, opening a window, even just a crack, if weather, safety, and privacy permit, can make a big difference. Keeping the bathroom door ajar after use, again if practical, can also help the air circulate with the rest of the house. A dry bathroom is a healthier, cleaner-smelling bathroom. And don't forget to clean your exhaust fan cover regularly if you have one. They can get clogged with dust and lint, reducing efficiency.
Those are all very actionable tips. We have one more habit to discuss, don't we?
Yes, our final habit. And this one is about what we sometimes do to try and combat odors, which can inadvertently miss the mark. Habit number 8 is relying too heavily on talcum powder or overmasking with perfumes and strong deodorants instead of addressing the root cause.
So trying to cover up the problem rather than solving it. I can see how that might not be the best long-term strategy. What about talcum powder? I know it was very common.
For generations, it was a staple. However, as many folks know, there have been health concerns raised about talc, particularly with regular use in the genital area. While many modern body powders are now talc-free and cornstarch-based, which is generally considered safer, the principle of relying solely on powder to absorb significant moisture rather than ensuring thorough drying first isn't ideal. Powder can sometimes clump in skin folds if the skin isn't completely dry, potentially trapping moisture and bacteria.
So, thorough drying should always come first. And what about perfumes and deodorants?
While a lovely perfume or an effective deodorant is a wonderful part of feeling put together, Using them to simply cover up an underlying body odor isn't a sustainable or healthy solution. It's like spraying air freshener in a room with a hidden source of bad smell. It only masks it temporarily, and sometimes the combination can be even less pleasant. Plus, very strong fragrances can be irritating to sensitive older skin or trigger allergies for some.
So, what's the best approach here, Daniel?
The best strategy, as we've discussed throughout our chat, is always to focus on the foundational habits of good hygiene. Thorough washing with gentle cleansers, meticulous drying, especially in skin folds, frequent laundering of towels and clothing, good bathroom ventilation, and addressing specific issues like minor incontinence directly and with medical advice if needed. These are the things that tackle odor at its source.
And if someone likes using powder or perfume,
If you do like to use a body powder for comfort, opt for a talc-free cornstarch-based one and apply it sparingly to completely dry skin, perhaps avoiding the genital area if there are concerns. For deodorants, choose one that suits your skin. There are many effective gentle, fragrance-free, or aluminum-free options, and perfume, if enjoyed, should be applied lightly to pulse points, not as a substitute for cleanliness. True, lasting freshness comes from good self-care, not from being heavily masked. Phew, we've covered quite a bit of ground there, haven't we, Serena?
we certainly have. It's been incredibly informative. So, to recap, we've talked about those 8 bathroom habits: not drying thoroughly, using harsh soaps, infrequent washing of towels, neglecting foot care, not addressing urinary leakage effectively, wearing PJs or robes too long, poor bathroom ventilation, and over-relying on powders or perfumes.
That's a perfect summary, and I truly hope this conversation has felt helpful and empowering to everyone watching, and not in any way critical or judgmental. Please remember, these are common things, easily overlooked, and making small, gentle adjustments to our routines can lead to really positive changes.
It really is all about taking good, kind, thoughtful care of ourselves at every age and every stage of life. Understanding how to work with our bodies gently helps us live our best, most comfortable lives.
Absolutely. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, everyone. Do any of these habits resonate with you? Perhaps you've found a particular tip or product that works wonders that you'd like to share with our community here. Please feel free to leave a comment below. Your wisdom and experiences are always so valuable.
And if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. That little click really helps other folks find this information. And of course, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Empowered Senior Living for more content focused on health, well-being, and enjoying a vibrant life.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Remember, you are wonderful, you are valuable, and you deserve to feel comfortable, confident, and delightfully fresh every single day.
Take good care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video.
Bye for now.